thought this phone was old, but suddenly it's my most valuable possession.
You really like me? Even my frock?
I love your frock.
And, my hair? It's not too brown.
I love brown.
My fringe is new.
The fringe is perfect. Fringe is the best bit.
If you're a straight male moviegoer, you have reason to fear Richard Curtis. Not only did he write Four Weddings and a Funeral, which launched stammering pretty boy Hugh Grant into a galaxy of smarmy romantic comedies, but he also wrote the screenplays for other offenses to movie date night, like Notting Hill, Bridget Jones's Diary and its sequel, and Love Actually, which arguably started the trend of saccharine multi-star rom-com shitstorms like Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve. His latest romantic comedy, which he also directed, is called About Time, where a young man uses his ability to travel back in time to land his perfect girl while learning about the pains and pleasures of life's onward march. But another way this movie made me contemplate the vagaries of time is because it made 2 hours feel like a fucking eternity. Domhnall Gleeson, who vocally seems to be doing a Hugh Grant impression, plays Tim, a perennial loser in love who learns on his 21st birthday from his dad, James, played by Bill Nighy, that the men in their family are able to travel back in time to any moment in their lives they can remember by simply going to a dark space, closing their eyes, and clenching their fists. Tim vows to use his power to get a girlfriend, mostly by traveling back in time to avoid mistakes, be more suave, and to use previously acquired knowledge to make himself seem like a more impressive, compatible suitor. The main focus of Tim's efforts is Mary, played by Rachel McAdams, and yet another of her long line of aggressively, relentlessly adorable characters that are so syrupy and unrealistically sweet that they seem like an experiment to give moviegoers diabetes. But Tim soon learns that if he's not careful, he could change his life in unforeseen ways, including a life where he and Mary never meet or the makeup of their eventual family together is drastically altered, while also learning that some bad outcomes can't be avoided. Now, there's already been a movie about a guy who can go back in time to do things perfectly, and it's called Groundhog Day. And the reason why it's a classic is that not only does Bill Murray's character eventually learn to use his ability for self-improvement in the greater good, but that's only after indulging himself, as I'm sure all of us would, by using his prior knowledge to do a number of fun, questionable, or downright lousy things. However, Tim never does that, not even using his power to play the stock market or bet on sports to make his and his family's life a little easier, making this perhaps the most boring movie about time travel I've ever seen. I'm willing to forgive the fact that a lot of the mechanics of how time travel works in the film doesn't make sense. But like I said, About Time is 2 hours long, which is long for a movie like this. And so much of it is just some scenario going badly, Tim stammering, "Excuse me a minute," running to a closet and reliving it better, which gets really tedious as McAdams keeps pushing your cuteness gag reflex. By the time the movie gets to some more interesting themes about letting go and appreciating every moment, it was too late for me, where the only time travel I cared about was getting to a future where this movie was over. As a final insult, About Time ends with what I consider a very British resignation, or maybe it's defeatism, that you should not only accept but embrace your station in life regardless of its shortcomings. But in the case of About Time, it's even worse since Tim has practically endless potential to change and improve life, not just for he and his family, but potentially for the world. What kind of shitty-ass message is that? Though About Time did fill me with a feeling of resignation and defeat that I had wasted 2 hours of my life on such cloying junk, and a wish that I could travel back in time to avoid it, as you should in your future. I'm Jonathan Kim, and this is a ReThink Review.